or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by The Good Feet Store. The Good Feet Store is a proud supporter of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For over 25 years, The Good Feet Store has been helping people get back to the life they love without their feet getting in the way. Start your journey at goodfeet.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by Alabama defensive lineman James Smith.
Some good opportunities for you last year, but this year specifically, what do you think led to you getting on the field more?
Some people would say maturing, but it's just me understanding what I had to do and like some stuff I had to get better at, and understanding like it was my time last year, and this year just honing in on the little things and just doing everything right.
Who were some guys that really helped you, some veterans that helped you kind of learn the right things to do to make sure you could play?
I'd say Tim Keenan, Tim Smith, Jamarian Latham, just really all my older guys, like, just helped me, like, just, and not even that, just seeing them and knowing, like, they needed me this season, like just time to come on, just came to work, for real.
I'll have more in a moment.
This is Christian Miller for the Good Feet Store. I know from playing football at Alabama and in the NFL that if you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, it can be a huge challenge. The Good Feet Store is designed to personally fit you with arch supports that alleviate and even eliminate your pain altogether. Try them before you buy them. They're in your free, no obligation, personalized fitting, and you can wear them home the same day. So if you're looking to improve your game, the Good Feet Store has you covered. Stop in for a free, personalized fitting today. Roll to victory at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com. Roll Tide.
If you missed last night's episode of Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, catch it on demand on the Alabama Insider Podcast. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back and welcome in. We're brand new. We're live. We're talking ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. We're off and running on a Thursday morning that sees the Auburn Tigers score again on Vermont. And again, they play 11th ranked Auburn, tipping off their season last night against Vermont inside Neville Arena. And the Auburn Tigers, they showed no mercy. Now, keep in mind, this is a Vermont team that's been to the NCAA tournament. Yeah. They just got done beating UAB earlier this week on UAB's home floor.
Yes, we talked about it.
And Auburn just ran past them last night. Your final 94-43, your final. Chaney Johnson did have 13 points and led the Tigers with 9 rebounds. But Miles Kelly last night,
transfer from Georgia Tech,
7 of 9 from behind the arc. He had 21 points to lead 5 Tigers in double figures. Now, he had 5 threes in fewer than 4 minutes, but the Tigers were already up by 40 at that point, and they didn't look back.
No.
Auburn gets it done last night. 56th consecutive sellout inside Neville Arena. The 51-point win was Auburn's largest season-opening win since the Tigers got by Southeastern Louisiana in 98-99 season. And Vermont's 43 points are the fewest by an Auburn opponent since the Tigers held Northwestern to 42 in 2022.
And Denver Jones had a really nice game. I believe he had 16, and so he did a really nice job, got into double figures. And I saw Bruce Pearl's quote. I believe he called Chaney Johnson a beast coming off the bench. He did an outstanding job. And we talked about it ad nauseum. I was at SEC tip off. I talked to Bruce Pearl about him, and that from what we understand, he's now 6'9", and he's got big shoes to fill, no doubt about it, because they lost some really experienced dudes that have been in the program, no question about it. But the one thing we do know, they still have 10 seniors. They're still an old group. They have some talent. Tashad Pettiford, struggled a little bit in his first game at Auburn, but he's a very talented young guy. But they're much like Alabama. They've got some older dudes, and then Jonah Broom had a quiet 12, but again, he's going to be a first team all SEC type guy. Some believe that preseason player of the year. So Auburn has got a really good team, and Miles Kelly, obviously the transfer from Georgia Tech. The word around Birmingham was he was the best shooter on the team. Well, he made 7 threes in his first game, so certainly made an impact.
Bruce Pearl.
Yeah,
that's a win for Auburn against the field. That Vermont team got a chance to and should win their league and be an NCAA tournament again. As a 13 seed, recognize maybe my advantage would be I grew up in Boston. I know John Becker. I know his staff. I know how good they are, and we were ready for them.
There you go, Bruce Pearl. After the Tigers got the win over Vermont last night to kick off the season, doesn't get much easier, or I should say, it does ramp up for Auburn after this one.
Yeah,
as they will head
to
the Toyota Center. They're going to call this one the Battleground 2K tip-off, set for 8:30 on Saturday, as they will tangle with number 4 Houston. That will be on ESPNU. But again, Auburn, number 4 Houston, Saturday, 8:30 at night tip-off. But yeah, you're going to get your oil checked in game number 2.
And we're going to have people from Huntsville all over the place.
That's right, Kelly McCarty.
Yeah, Chase
McCarty, McCarty family.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
Interest on that one.
The son of Kelly McCarty. Kelly, of course, I believe still with the Timberwolves, correct?
Somewhere in there, doing something.
Working in the NBA.
NBA, NBDL, whatever they call it, G League
today. But I don't know. But Chase McCarty is a true freshman for Houston, and Houston's a top 3 to 4 team in the country. And as Scott just said, it's a huge test for Auburn. They'll certainly be. It's going to be one of the marquee games, probably along with Duke.
Yeah.
In their pre-conference, they have a very difficult pre-conference schedule. But again, Chase is with the Houston Cougars and
Bobby Champagne too.
Yeah,
former North Alabama.
There you
coach.
go. There's another one. So we
on that staff there at Houston.
Saw him on social media the other day as well. He and his wife. So Bobby Champagne's still part of the off the court staff, is the way I would put it, doing a lot of things for Kelvin Sampson. And it's going to be a heck of a matchup, man, because Houston's, it's hard to believe that Kelvin's already been there over 10 years, but he has, and he's done a great job with that since he came back from the NBA after Indiana fired him like a bunch of morons, about as stupid
for making impermissible phone calls.
About as stupid as what we had to put up with the last 4 years is all I'll say.
I don't know. Kelvin Sampson, look, when he was at Oklahoma,
somebody just didn't like. I don't know.
He had Oklahoma rolling. He had Indiana going.
He got to the Final Four at Oklahoma. He won at Washington State. I mean, everywhere, whatever the guy's done, he's won. Now, what he may have made some impermissible phone calls, but it's kind of like UCLA, man. For whatever reason, UCLA just decides they hate somebody and they're going to fire you. They did it to Ben Howland too. They're going to try to run you out of town. They're going to try to leak stuff to the media, probably because you didn't take their, give them enough access or something like that. Just something stupid.
Look, we've seen, all you got to do is anger one booster.
Yeah,
all you got to do is anger one booster, and especially at a school like Indiana.
Well, Indiana, since Bob Knight had to unceremoniously be dismissed, they have not been good. No. I mean, they've tried many things. And I truly believe Kelvin Sampson would have finally fixed it, and he was on his way to do it. I know, that they Tom Crean for a little bit had him number one in the country, and they were good, but he couldn't sustain it. And Kelvin has been able to sustain it everywhere, because I think we all understand, while Houston was good after Guy Lewis, the only guy that's got him back to being elite was Kelvin Sampson.
Right.
And so I thought it was the perfect hire for Indiana. Obviously, as you just got through basically, rightfully pointing out, he pissed off the wrong booster or something.
Well, and I think, too, it was so close to after Bobby Knight that Indiana was trying to get an image out of everybody's minds that the program was in better shape. And
somebody asked me this last night. And you're from that part of the country. Hell, he coached in your state. Somehow Steve Alford's pissed somebody off.
Steve Alford is not a friendly guy.
And
Steve Alford is not going to – Steve Alford is about Steve Alford, and he is not going to – Steve Alford clashes with a lot of individuals. Let's just say that. He clashes with a lot of people.
But if you look at Steve's record, he did a nice job at Iowa, was there for a long time, but he
pissed off a lot of people, though, behind the scenes.
By the time he left, he got out of town, but he wasn't fired. But he, like you said, he didn't have a lot of friends. But he went to New Mexico and he won there, and then he got the UCLA job. And then, of course, we just talked about UCLA. He lasted a few seasons, but that's the one job where he was dismissed. But he landed on his feet at Nevada. He's won wherever he's been, and yet Indiana's had many opportunities to try to hire the guy since Coach Knight was let go, and it's never. You can answer it maybe better than me. I don't think it's ever been close to happening.
No.
You know.
There was other basketball last night in the SEC. One game did have our interest.
Yes, it very much did.
16th ranked Arkansas at home last night, taking on Lipscomb and Lenny Acuff.
Thought it was a
76-60. Arkansas wins it.
I thought it was a respectable performance. I mean, we already talked about earlier in the week because Lipscomb's on a road swing, and they, as these mid-major coaches,
Duquesne to start the year,
like Mike Morrell from UNC Asheville said, we got to play these games.
Yeah.
And so Lipscomb's doing the same thing. They went to Duquesne and won, and then go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and they, 76-60. A solid performance. It was the first game for head coach John Calipari. Little concerning. They shot 4 of 19 from 3, but and he brought in the roster is brand new. I mean, I think Trayvon Brazil is the only one that came back, and he almost didn't. I mean, he was in the portal for a long time, but Calipari's got kind of a short bench, but they're still very talented. And 76-60, I thought Lipscomb acquitted themselves well. A solid performance on the road, and a very, very tough place to play in Fayetteville.
Well, circle your calendars for November 30th.
Right.
7:00. Lipscomb, Lenny Acuff and company will be making a journey here to the Rocket City as they are going to take on Alabama A&M.
That'll be neat. I mean, just like circle your calendars for tonight, we got 2 big games. We got a big high school opener with Huntsville High, and we have the Alabama women on the road at Alabama A&M tonight.
Well, and you also, by the way, have high school football tonight.
Oh, yeah. There's with all this weather coming in.
With all the weather and one other school needing a home field to play on, they've got to play, because I believe Decatur Heritage shares their field with West Morgan. I believe they still do.
Right.
There's 2 high school games that do impact North Alabama tonight. In Class 2A, Susan Moore will travel to Decatur Heritage for a first round of the playoffs. And then Ohatchee is traveling to Fife tonight to play a couple football games. Now, there's other games throughout the state. Hoover is in action tonight in round 1. I know there's a couple other ones, but they're not in our area. Those are the only 2 high school football games that are in our area tonight for round 1 of the playoffs.
Because there's some worry about inclement weather tomorrow and on Friday, and and both sides had to agree on it. But if you could agree to move the game to Thursday, they would allow you to play. And so, as Scott's saying, there's a handful of games being played tonight, and could even be some rain tonight too. So there was rain yesterday after our show. It rained for much of the afternoon, yet it cleared up for us, and it was an honor to award our Bryant Bank Team of the Week, one of our first two.
Yeah.
And that was, of course, to Huntsville High and how they've dominated in both ladies and men's the sectionals in cross country.
That was fun to get out there,
Yeah.
talk to Coach Borden. And
Yep.
we're not done yet.
Nope.
We've handed out $500 once. We're going to hand out $5.
Don't say $5 amount. Freak out.
I got a $5 bill in my wallet. We'll run it over the team of the week, and there we go. No, for the next team. We're going to hand out. That's like the other day. I didn't mean to say a word. I just meant to say it. But anyway, $500 will go to another team of the week coming up here on Friday. We'll hand out another $500. Actually, we're handing it out today.
Yeah.
But we'll have the interview tomorrow.
And announcement.
Yeah, we'll announce it. We'll have to announce it after the next break or whatever because we'll do all that. But anyway, I tell you what, 7:13, let's get our first break in of the morning. When we come back, Hugh Freeze. You know, we had talked about it earlier in the week. Should Hugh Freeze change quarterbacks? And Auburn's on a bye week this week. Should they change quarterbacks? He did address that and was asked that yesterday during the SEC teleconference. We'll let you hear about that. Plus, we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer. All that and more on Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They've called for records on that accident, 231 and Fields Road in Lacey. That's at southbound traffic backed up across the Tennessee River Bridge at times. That's our only working accident. Everything else looks good. You be careful on your ride in. Do your methods to lose weight no longer work for you? 7 different hormones can make it impossible for you to lose weight. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
It's time to get ready for game day. That means Alabama football and tailgating. Whether you're tailgating at home or at Bryant-Denny, visit Brooks & Collier for North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers like Big Green Egg, Blaze, Delta Heat, Memphis, and Traeger. Satisfy any palate with our wall of rubs and seasonings. For all your tailgating needs, visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for over 75 years. Roll Tide.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopé. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Smoke them all with an intellect and a savoir-faire. No one in the
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the program on a Thursday morning. It's go out to the phone lines. Is it Mark from Spring? All right, let's go to Brandon. I mean, we were getting ready to go to Mark. All right, let's get to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Head scratching moment, gentlemen. Sonny Smith decides to retire at the beginning of the year. I've always looked at that like the coach from West Virginia, people that retire at the beginning of the year, and I think to myself, you made it this far, and you can't make it a little farther. You quit at the beginning of the year.
I think Auburn
in a weird position.
Auburn kind of had a feeling he was going to step away. I just think he made it official that he was going to step away.
And Steve Moulton did call him once he read this story, and he is, for the most part, retiring, but not completely. He's doing about 4, 5, or 6 games, and they're allowing him to choose said games. I would say probably a high chance that he will do the Alabama-Auburn games, both of them this year on Saturdays. And they'll be prime time. And again, as he said, he will do a handful, but for the majority of the rest of them. And then I think lately Coach Smith had not been traveling.
No,
he had been games.
he was only doing half of the games anyway during the year because he wasn't on the road. And even for a few home games, if he wasn't feeling well, then he wasn't there. So he hadn't been doing 100% of the games the last year or so.
Yeah, we've always loved having him on.
Right.
With such a long career as a coach and broadcaster. But, they're letting him, as Andy Burcham said, he's a legend. He's done so much for Auburn basketball and the university, and they're going to let him call that shot. But it sounds like he's going to do just a handful of games this year.
I'm going to tell you, that February 15th matchup with Alabama and Auburn, I think that is going to be a fight that is going to be remembered for a long time. I am already in search of tickets to that game and want to lock it down.
Yeah.
I think that is one that's circled on the calendar. I intend to be there for that, no matter what.
Both the matchups should be outstanding. I mean, we know Auburn will have a sellout. Alabama's, I think, just about all their SEC home games are already sold out. So both games, the atmosphere should be outstanding.
Well, I could see both of those matchups necessarily being the basketball game day.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that. I mean, Auburn's had, the game day down there, and I believe Alabama did for the first time last year. So, without a doubt, both of them could be. And the other fortunate thing is I think this is the first time they've both been on a Saturday. Because they, in times they've been on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, stuff like that, and the game day will not be there on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So, and the SEC certainly, when you see that, and I know Jeff hates them, but the SEC ACC challenge and things of that nature, when Alabama and Auburn were chosen to go to North Carolina and the Tide to play the Tar Heels and Auburn to play Duke, that in other years that would be the Kentuckys and the Arkansas or the Floridas. That's not anymore because they consider Alabama and Auburn the two best teams right now in the conference.
Yeah. Had Kentucky had John Calipari not left Kentucky, maybe Kentucky gets one of those.
But see, the thing is, even he went to Arkansas early enough where they could have pulled some strings and probably got Arkansas to play one of them. Yeah, but they're not. So it's a big opportunity. And Bruce Pearl mentioned it in Birmingham. That it's a badge of honor for the state of Alabama to go to the Tar Heel state and play the two blue bloods, Carolina and Duke, who are perennial powers.
Well, and I wanted to say to Scott, what is the odds that Iowa ends up scoring more than 40 in half their games this year? And how is Brian Ferentz feeling?
Well, look, Iowa made a quarterback change this past weekend. Cade McNamara was benched, and they went with the Northwestern transfer.
It seemed to work.
42.
And, I mean, that a lot of people felt that should have happened even beginning of the year, but Kurt Ferentz was still stubborn enough to play Cade McNamara the whole, the way. Thing is Iowa's schedule sets up fine for them to score 40. Keep in mind when they played Ohio State this year, they couldn't even sniff 7. It was backups that scored the touchdown because you go up against a defense that has a pulse, and Iowa's offense struggles. They've done well, even against Michigan State. Michigan State's defense was not great, but they still did not do very well.
And I'm going to tell you, after you wake up on a Tuesday, actually a Wednesday on a really good Monday night, there's nothing better than celebrating than going and shooting machine guns the next day. Roll Tide.
There you go. Hey,
never had the
machine
the
gun
honor of doing
therapy,
that.
I guess.
I don't know. Or axe throwing. I've
Yeah.
never done that either.
I've never done axe throwing. Now that
Right.
does sound intriguing. Axe throwing does. All right. So we talked a lot about, Auburn. Yes, they are on a bye week right now. Their second one of the season. And hey, what about making a quarterback change?
Yeah.
Is this the time for Auburn to make a quarterback change yet again? Hugh Freeze was asked this yesterday on the SEC teleconference.
I was wondering if what you've decided to do at quarterback moving forward, if you're going to stick with Peyton these last few games, or maybe change up some reps in the last few games this year.
Peyton's played pretty solid, but at the same time, you start thinking big picture, and well, that's a tough quandary for you as a coach to, when you start thinking big picture as opposed to one of your players that really hasn't done anything wrong, but we certainly are not. We certainly aren't winning, and so we're debating all of that this week, and we'll continue into next week debating that.
Interesting. And that was our good friend Nathan King.
Yeah, it sounds like he wants to make a
teleconference.
change, but sounds like he doesn't want to make a change.
And he pointed out, I don't really think lately it's been all about being Peyton Thorne's fault. I just think that the offensive line's had some issues, the running game. They've also Hunter has done a nice job, but he has fumbled the football. And so has Damari Alston. So it's not all on the quarterback and the receivers. Got to catch the football. That's kind of been the mantra of Hugh Freeze's first 2 years at Auburn, as they've had missed some opportunities to make plays because Thorne made perfect throws. And a guy like Robert Lewis doesn't catch one in the back of the end zone and against Missouri, and it comes back and bites Auburn. So it is going to be an interesting quandary, though. I mean, especially if they start slow. Or if Thorne does make a mistake early, do you look? I mean, I've even heard people talking about, do you take a look at Walker White and see what you have now, because he could still redshirt, but he's a guy that they like a lot. You've already seen Hank Brown,
right?
You got Holden Garner. I mean, who do you give the reps to? Because otherwise, or have you already made up your mind that you're going into the portal to get a QB? Because I'll be honest, I think a lot of people thought Auburn would go into the portal last year. I certainly thought when Caden Salter of Liberty went in the portal that maybe he was going to be headed to Auburn, but Hugh decided, nope, we're going to, we're going to go get Keandre Lambert-Smith, Robert Lewis, and we're going to sign some really good freshmen, and we're going to try to surround the quarterback. Percy Lewis, the left tackle, that has not worked out for Mississippi State, and we're going to build around the QB and keep him.
Right.
And it just has not, materialized. Auburn's missed a lot of opportunities, and now they're after this bye they're going to host UL Monroe, then they're going to host Texas A&M, and then finish the season at Alabama. But their margin for error is gone because they have to win out to go to a bowl game. So certainly it'll be and so that's the one carrot still dangling. If you still have postseason play that you're competing for, and then you're trying to win your first bowl game in 4 years as well. So I would say coming out of the bye that they'll still stick with Peyton Thorne.
And I don't think you want to put someone with little experience on the road at Alabama.
I wouldn't think so.
Peyton Thorne at least is battle tested enough
and played pretty well against him last year.
Yes. I don't think you want to just sacrifice everything and throw the season to the wolves, so to speak, on a road game against one of your biggest rivals. I mean, I don't think you want to do that if you're Hugh Freeze. All right. So coming up a little bit later, we will hear from Kalen DeBoer. Hey, coach. He was He talked about the loud environment for Saturday game against LSU. He commented on that. We'll hear from that here in a little bit. We've also got to get through the student availability report.
Oh, Lord.
And Ole Miss pulling out. Lane Kiffin's at it again. We'll explain all that and more, but we got to get a break in because when we come back, we're going to talk high school basketball.
Big opener tonight, man.
JD Gossett will join us on the flip side. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. Once again, we're warm as we head into the overnight. Temperatures only drop into the mid-60s. Much the same for your Friday. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Isolated showers are going to be possible. Temperatures climbing again into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Looks like we're going to spend most of Friday night football sitting somewhere in the lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They're sending an ambulance to check one of the drivers, 231 and Fields Road. They're also updating that one in Lacey to Parks Chapel Road instead of Fields. And that's been back in traffic southbound up across the Tennessee River Bridge at times. That's our only working accident. Everything else seems to be clear, and the fog seems to be burning off nicely. Do your methods to lose weight no longer work for you? 7 different hormones can make it impossible for you to lose weight. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Rich Eisen here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join us all season long as we get you ready for primetime NFL action every Monday night. Along with Kevin Harlan, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, and the entire Westwood One team will take you inside the locker rooms and the stadiums for exclusive previews and all the play-by-play action. Every week on Monday Night Football.
Right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you ready for some high school basketball?
I think everybody is, man.
Put the ball in the center circle.
Some college basketball, some high school.
Yep, let's tip it up because high school basketball, we know college basketball is in full swing already on the big boys level. You've got UAH getting ready to tip off tomorrow on the Division II
Y'all got like
level.
a matinee, right?
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. So you can have a sandwich and basketball at the same time. But on the high school level, the high school boys and gals are getting ready to tip off as well. And if there's one thing that we know about basketball is that North Alabama is, as much as we struggle when we get to the playoffs, we do not struggle in high school basketball. It is an experience unlike any other in North Alabama. And one of those teams that will be must watch this year. We've got a few of them, but one of them that will be must watch is right here in the Rocket City, and that is Huntsville.
Yeah, no doubt. The Huntsville Crimson Panthers, very special group. We've been talking to each of their starting five the last several days. We talked to Simon Walker first when he made his collegiate decision to commit to Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers. And boy, we let off the show with how impressive they were in their season opener at Neville Arena yesterday against a very good Vermont team. But we also talked about the Lipscomb Bison, our great friend Lenny Acuff. They played the Arkansas Razorbacks last night in John Calipari's first game in Fayetteville. And, of course, they had a very interesting person watching that game last night. He has been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He has been a huge part of Huntsville High basketball's varsity program since he was in 8th grade. And really just he has grown both, physically and spiritually, and really become one of the best players in Crimson Panther history, one of the toughest competitors that I've ever had the honor of being around. And he's been kind enough to join us this morning, and it's J.D. Gossett, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to talk some Crimson Panthers and his decision ultimately to join the Lipscomb program. J.D., good morning. How are you?
Yep, good morning. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so here's the thing, and we've asked everybody that's been on this week. Tonight's the night.
Yes.
And how anxious are you right now? I mean, I know your mind has to be on school. Your mind's got to be on everything. But how anxious are you to put on those sneakers, tighten them nice and tight, and get out there and play tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm just super, super excited. I mean, I don't know if anxious is the right word necessarily, but I definitely am super excited. I know all the guys are super excited. We've been going at each other in practice, getting each other better, and it would be so much fun to be able to play against someone a little bit different.
Yeah, are you ready to see somebody in a different color uniform?
Yes, sir, for sure, for sure.
Well, I know you. They always have the officials clinic. You guys had a chance to at least get a couple of scrimmages in, so to speak, this past Saturday over at Buckhorn. You played against, a very familiar face. I'm still getting used to it, certainly. Seeing him on the other side at Mae Jemison and Pete Miller. You played against those guys, and then you played against Westminster Christian Academy. How did you think, even though you didn't have all the pieces there, how did it feel to get on the floor and play against somebody else, JD?
Yeah, it felt great. It was definitely a little bit different, playing without our two bigs, but it was definitely a really, really good experience. We were able to play really fast, play small ball. I know that in the season, we definitely will run that lineup a little bit during games and to really just try to speed things up. And it was just so much fun to be able to just go out there and play with my guys. I feel like there's a whole different vibe about the team this year, which is super exciting. I feel like we're really just all playing for each other right now. The ball's popping, the ball's moving. It's just so different from since we're so old, we're so mature. Our bodies are mature, and we're just able to really be really physical with teams. Whereas in the years past, that was one thing that we really wanted to get better at, and not because we always have had skill, but just being strong and physical with teams, and just being able to punk teams out this year with our with just being physical is something new for sure, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, you mentioned the seniors. You mentioned, I mean, this group is very talented. You're experienced. Do you guys reflect on just how far and kind of laugh sometimes how far you've come in 4 years?
Yeah, well, it's crazy because, I mean, I've known most of these guys my entire life, and I've just played AAU with them since about like 3rd or 4th grade for ABA, and it's just so bizarre. Like back in the day, I used to always dream about like playing high school basketball like with these guys, and now it's just so insane, that just time flies by so fast. Like I remember like it was yesterday I was a freshman student up, and now I'm a senior playing with my guys for the last time. So it's definitely a whole lot of fun. It's definitely something just crazy to look back on and just see how fast time flies.
It really does. It really flies. And I really enjoyed this summer. I thought you guys really the last two, it's kind of set the tone. You guys played with an edge. Of course, you had Caleb Harrison last year that was such a big part of things. It was an all-state player and a Mr. Basketball candidate now with the Sanford Bulldogs. And you guys played through him, but now it's different. It's as you said, the 5 seniors are going to start. You guys have been around so long. We've kind of asked this question of your teammates throughout the week, but how have you grown kind of as a leader, JD, and how has your role changed now that Caleb's not there, but it's now more about sharing the ball and certainly you guys at the ball. It was a great way to put it. The ball's popping. Talk about how your role has changed and kind of how you guys are taking the bull by the horn, so to speak, going into this season.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel as if I have to be a much more just a better leader this year and just be much more vocal. I feel like I have done a good job over the preseason of just being vocal and being a leader, but obviously I can still improve in that aspect. But really just kind of, because Caleb, he was loud, he was a great leader, and really just kind of picking up some of where he left off. But with such an old team with a bunch of seniors, we're able to be more player-led, which Coach Spears talks about all the time, how dangerous player-led teams are, and just how we'll be just so good with the age and maturity that we do have. So I feel as if I am taking a much bigger leadership role, but our whole team is full of a bunch of leaders, which is a great thing.
Yeah, big things, though. I mean, we've talked a lot about it this week, about the goals for Huntsville High basketball this year, and that is obviously to win that 7A championship. A little bit of pressure now. I mean, last year, you guys were trying to check off a lot of boxes. Maybe you can play a little different. This year, a little bit more pressure in trying to, I don't want to say pressure, though, but a little bit more, it's a defined goal, so it's going to be a little harder probably to get there.
Yeah, so I have 3 goals for this year. Number 1 is just treating it almost like a sponge and squeezing out all the enjoyment I can out of it, because this is my last year with my guys, and I definitely do want to be able to make lifelong memories and just cherish these moments with them. And then number 2 is every time we step on the court, I want us to be the most unselfish team that we can be, have that ball moving, and just really play for each other. And then lastly, I just want our team to be the hardest playing team every time we step on the court. And I feel as if we can do those 3 things, then we're going to be hard to beat, and we have a chance to go make history again for sure. And it's just really exciting.
It really is, and I don't think JD would mind me telling the story, but I mean, this is how much it means to him. Like in the summer, Scott, they don't count the games. I mean, you love playing in June. You play all over. You play at different team camps all over the state. He basically broke his nose up at Auburn and did not miss. I think he missed 2 or 3 minutes to go get treated, and then came back and played the entire rest of the summer. I mean, it was pretty amazing. And JD, I mean. Toughness is an interesting thing to describe, but how did you develop your mental toughness? Because you seem to be one of the more mentally tough guys I've ever been around. Scott was there when you made the 2 free throws to win the Epic Huntsville City Classic final. That's something you can't coach. How did you develop your toughness?
Yeah, well, I think just growing up, I've always played against older competition. Also, growing up, my parents have always had our house open to a bunch of kids from different backgrounds. They would always come over to play basketball, and I would be the smallest one out there, but I would be playing as hard as I can, just being tough. And then also, I definitely want to give credit to my mom. My mom has definitely taught me the importance of being mentally tough. And it's actually funny. We'll go and play. We'll go shoot before games a lot, and she'll do a game called Foul, and she's just fouling me and telling me, you got to be tough, you got to be tough, you got to be tough. And then if I'm shooting free throws, she's up in my ear talking to me, just trying to get me distracted. So she has definitely helped me a lot just with my mental toughness and just my toughness in general.
So tonight you go out and you take on Bob Jones. How do you try to temper a little bit of this enthusiasm in game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously first game, a lot of people are going to have those jitters, but just with us being an old team, we're going to be able to definitely just kind of like channel that and just play with so much joy, so much enthusiasm. Like our team, we truly love each other and we want what's best for each other. We want to see each other succeed. So I think we'll have no problem going out there and just playing for each other and playing as hard as we can and just going out there and hooping.
Well, and you know, I've affectionately nicknamed you Riggs from Lethal Weapon just because of your toughness and you just relish challenges. I'm sure you relish going up against a great player like Caden Rickard, who is headed to Murray State. He's going to be playing on basically on the same level you are in college. That's a nice challenge in the first game to face a player of that caliber and a team like you guys that's very experienced in Bob Jones.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've known Caden for just about my whole life, so it will be a whole lot of fun going up against him. I don't believe I've ever played him in high school, so it would definitely be a whole lot of fun going against him. He's a great player, and Bob Jones is a great team, so we have to come prepared, come ready to play.
Let's talk about what's going on after high school basketball, and then it's college basketball. And we follow Lipscomb here because of its ties, Lenny Acuff, UAH, and just an outstanding guy off the court. Talk about getting to play on the next level and play for Lenny Acuff at Lipscomb.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just so happy and so thankful that I was given this opportunity to go play for Coach Acuff. He's a great coach. I know that he will, no matter I know that he will not only push me to just become just a better basketball player, but also just a better man and just in the future a better husband one day. So I'm just so excited for the opportunity to go play for him. He's just such a man of high character, and I love Lipscomb. I love the guys up there on my visit. I really, really enjoyed getting to know them. Also, Josh Scott, he's committed up to Lipscomb as well. We're good friends, so that'd be a whole lot of fun being able to room with him and play with him. Really, I'm just super, super excited and thrilled at the opportunity because, I mean, Coach Acuff is a great coach, and I'm just so happy to be a part of Lipscomb. But definitely, I am where my feet are. I'm ready for it to go to work this senior year and just go on like one last dance with my guys.
Well, you know, we talked to Eli Staple yesterday, and I told him I can you know, I've so many times I've walked into the gym, and you and Eli are working by yourself, just working on your game, haunting it. What's the kind of the biggest emphasis individually you put on yourself in the off season to get ready for this last dance with these guys?
Yeah, I think just really just getting my shot more consistent. I feel as if right now my shot feels great. Getting more athletic, getting my body right. Also, really just being more vocal. But I mean, I put in a lot of work, and the hay is in the barn, and we're ready to ball. Like, we're ready to go, and it's just we're super excited for today and the season. And I feel as if I put in a lot of work over the preseason. I'm ready to go.
Well, and for me, the final question is truly Team Gossett with your father, and you already mentioned your mom and what a big influence she's been on your career. But you've got two brothers in the program. Of course, Hudson will be on the varsity, and then your youngest brother Graham. I thought he looked outstanding in the scrimmage the other day. Can shoot the basketball. It's going to be a big part of the JV. Probably will have some time on the varsity this year. How's it been having your two brothers in the program with you?
Yeah, it's actually just so much fun. I mean, growing up playing with them in the backyard and just like I know their games, they know my game, so it's just so exciting. Like, I can't wait to play with both of them. I played with Huddy's some last year, but hopefully Graham gets brought up some. We were able to play all three together. That'd be so much fun. But I know that when I drive and I kick it out to Huddy, it's going to go up and it's probably going to go in. So it's just so exciting just being able to play with those guys, play with my brothers, and I mean, not many people get to play with both their brothers in high school basketball, so it's just a very unique experience, and I'm very grateful for it. It's just it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Well, we certainly are proud of you. Congratulations on the decision to go to Lipscomb. I think it is a great fit for you. It's going to be a great environment tonight, 7:30. Going to be a big crowd over at Huntsville High playing against the Bob Jones Patriots, two top 10 teams in the state of Alabama in 7A. Huntsville certainly with high expectations. We look forward to it, the first chapter tonight. But thank you for taking the time out. I know you got a day at school today, and I'm pretty sure you probably didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I certainly, I mean, I'm not even playing, and I had a hard time going to sleep last night. But really looking forward to it, my brother. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to seeing you tonight.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you so much, Drew, just for your support of Huntsville High. You definitely bleed crimson, and we're so thankful for you. I can speak for the whole team by saying we're forever thankful for you and everything that you do for the program. We would not be where we are today without you, and we're just so thankful for you, Drew.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I love being a part of it. It's an honor. It's a privilege to work for the program and Coach Swears and be around you guys. But again, looking forward to seeing you guys tonight. Go Big Red, and thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's get a break in. Let's wrap up hour one coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At last report, they had called for records on that accident. 231 in Parks Lane, that's in Lacey Spring. They did call for an ambulance to check one of the drivers, so it still may be a few minutes before they get that one clear. That's it accident-wise. I don't see anything else there. We do have a heavy traffic load across the valley, though. With more than 30 years experience, D&L Refrigeration can save you money on those heating and air conditioning repairs. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
You better watch who you're talking about, running your mouth like you know me. You gon' fuck around and chill out and show me, get caught and show me. Why one-on-one you can't hold me. If your last name was Hayne, only way you heard me out is this my name.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Coming up in a little bit, Christy Curry will join the program. This week's all been about head coaches. We had John Summerall on yesterday, head coach of the Tulane Green Wave, and we talked Tulane football. Christy Curry will join us here in a few minutes. Going to talk Alabama women's basketball. They are in town tonight to take on Alabama A&M over there at the Alabama A&M Event Center. Got to get that right. The A&M Event Center. So we'll preview that one coming up in just a little bit. Bottom of the hour at 8:30. Mike Detillier will join the show as we get you ready for Alabama and LSU. And I'm laughing, because this is I don't know if this is Lane Kiffin playing games, or if this is.
How many did he put on there?
How many do you think are on here for the LSU student availability
Well,
report?
LSU was 12. They got 12 dudes out.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And
we
these are
know
just the
Harold
dudes.
Perkins was out. I mean, he's
Yeah.
listed on there. Emory is listed on there. They've been out there. Now, for LSU, though, there is one big one that is on there. And Garrett Dellinger is listed on there as out. And he is their starting right guard.
Yeah.
He's out.
Right.
They announced that a couple days ago. That is big for LSU.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that one in a little bit. But how many do you think Lane Kiffin put on here? Take a guess on how many are on there.
27.
26.
Oh, I missed it by one.
He put 26 guys on the student availability report.
I heard Trey Harris is doubtful.
He listed 11 probable, 3 out, 5 doubtful, and 7 questionable.
Oh.
And Trey Harris is listed as doubtful.
Yeah. I saw that reported by a good friend, Matt Zenitz. And so.
Yes. 3 are out. Henry Parrish,
yeah,
Logan Diggs.
We talked about Henry Parrish with Brett Norsworth earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he lists Walter Nolan as probable.
Oh, give me a break.
Daquan Wright is probable. Micah Pettis is probable.
Our good friend Micah Pettis.
He's got all these guys. List 26 guys on the student availability report.
Are these like because their checks have to clear or something with these probabilities? I mean, what the hell?
Is that mind game?
It is. That's all it is. Lane Kiffin, he's always trying to play mind games of some sort. He just needs to win a big game because he hasn't at Ole Miss in a lot of ways. I was just going to
say, if this was anybody else, if this would not be Georgia that they were playing, would Lane Kiffin list 26 guys on the report? Is he trying to outplay himself or outcoach himself by doing all this little stuff?
He's done it before.
That's what I'm saying.
Get your popcorn ready, throw the headset, and then you burn it.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen it a million times.
Now, Brett Norsworthy said, he's thought Lane has grown up. Now, I will agree. This is not the same Lane Kiffin that we've seen at other stops.
Brett said it. He went on the record. He said it's not the same Lane Kiffin. He's made changes off the field. He's even changed his coaching style. He truly believes he's about to turn the corner. He really does.
I'm just wondering by doing this if he's outdoing himself again, or does he not even have any control of this? Is this somebody else putting out this availability report? I don't know. Anyway, Tennessee, the availability report looks good. Really, I mean, if you're looking for Tennessee, I think the normals are there. I mean, it's Tyree West is the only one questionable. Everybody else has been out for the remainder. But Alabama, LSU, man.
Dang.
I know. Alabama, LSU, there's no shock here. Alabama only has 2 guys listed as out, but we knew those 2 guys were going to be the ones that were going to be out. That's it. There's only 2 names on the Alabama list.
Right.
And it's Keon Sabb and Cole Adams.
Yeah.
Both of those we already knew were going to be out. So that's no surprise on the Alabama front.
Well, I mean, Cole Adams is out for the year, and then Sabb might be.
Right.
I mean, we really don't know. And a lot of that might end up, about postseason and, where Alabama is in that situation. So yeah, they didn't even list anybody else as a doubtful, probable game time decision. Now they may update that by Saturday morning. We will certainly find out. Hell, Lane Kiffin may have 55 on there by then.
Would you put everybody on there?
He may put his entire starting 22 game time decision.
I mean, look, they're not going to let him fake injuries anymore. So would you?
Yeah, he's all about not faking the injuries and then faking about 9.
Would you just go ahead and
that kind of pissed me off? But Lane, that's just Lane being Lane, though. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. We've got to stop faking these injuries. Hey, man. Hey. Just
lay down on the ground.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, he gives them the signal. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what, though, I
fall on the ground.
Watched some of these SEC games this past weekend, because Greg Sankey on Friday threw the hammer down.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He threw the hammer down. He's had enough. He's like, dang it, y'all.
Dang it,
I've
y'all.
had enough. I've had enough. Yeah, I've had enough. But anyway, you watch these SEC games on Saturday, and you're like, I was watching the Tennessee game a little bit, and you see players laying down, and you're like, okay, how do you make that judgment call? If you're Greg Sankey in the office now, how do you make that judgment call that, yeah, you're faking this one? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's obvious. I mean, we've seen that enough.
When you see the guy, he's running towards the sidelines, and all of a sudden he's standing there and he just falls down. Those are the obvious ones. But it's interesting. It's interesting going forward on how you if you're Greg Sankey, how do you judge this going forward, especially on Saturday? And I'll be interested to see Ole Miss and Georgia on Saturday. Those have been some of the bigger ones. Tennessee has Mississippi State on Saturday, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Texas and Florida. Those are your SEC. You got Missouri and Oklahoma. Those are your only SEC matchups this weekend. All right, coming up tonight inside the Alabama A&M Event Center, the Alabama women are in town. They have landed in the Rocket City, and they will take on the Lady Bulldogs up on the hill tonight. We'll preview it with Christy Curry, the head coach of the Alabama women, coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This action update is brought to you by G-Bank. Earn cashback rewards on every eligible gaming transaction. VSiN.com/G-Bank.
Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, and Miami top the list. First college football playoff rankings of the year, followed by Texas, Penn State, Tennessee, Indiana, BYU, and Notre Dame. Alabama and Boise State finish off the 12-team bracket. SMU, Texas A&M, and LSU right on the bubble. Under the new college football playoff format, the top 4 seeds must be conference champions. The Buckeyes are the current betting favorite to win the national title at plus 325. Georgia and Oregon plus 400. The Texas Longhorns plus 500. Alabama plus 1,800. Tennessee plus 2,000. Notre Dame plus 2,500. Indiana plus 3,000. That's the VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm Chuck Sanders.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back in Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the program on a Thursday morning. Big thank you. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives, helping us kick off our number 2. And we will do so by kicking off our number 2 by talking a little women's college basketball as the 24th ranked team in the country. The Alabama Crimson Tide make that drive up here to the Rocket City as they will be on the hill tonight taking on Alabama A&M. Tip-off is set for 7:30. And our good friend Richard Hendricks, by the way, will be on part of that call with Roger Hoover and Richard Hendricks. But it is Alabama and Alabama A&M. The Crimson Tide opening the season with a very impressive 115-53 win at home over New Orleans.
Yes, they were super impressive. They played a doubleheader on Monday, and the men scored 110, the women scored 115. And these young ladies can shoot the basketball, led by Sarah Ashley Barker, the daughter of former Alabama quarterback Jay Barker. She's an outstanding player. Had an honor to watch her play at Spain Park throughout her high school career. Just an outstanding young lady and student athlete. Aaliyah Nye, transfer from Illinois, very good three-point shooter. Carly Weathers, that David Weathers' daughter, very, very good player. This is a very good basketball team, and this is a program that has been built from the ground up foundationally by our next guest, and we're honored to have her in our city. They will be playing at 7:30 over at the outstanding event center on the campus of Alabama A&M. I was just in there this past week for high school basketball media day for the city of Huntsville and for some of our other programs around our area, Hazel Green. And we're going to mention Hazel Green in this conversation because there's a young lady now as a true freshman that's another part of our community. One of the reasons that I think they're here, and certainly recruiting is very important, but it's an honor to have Christy Curry on the show as she is in her 12th season at the University of Alabama. She's made this program a perennial NCAA tournament program now, which has been just a huge accomplishment. And the basketball in our state has never been better. And we're so honored to have them here and to have her now. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. We know it's a very busy time. I know you guys, the young ladies have been in the city since I think. Did y'all arrive yesterday, Coach?
We did. We came in last night. It's our first. We had a scrimmage earlier in the fall here, but it's our first true road trip. So just trying to get them in that road routine, guys. And it's good for us to be up. 2.5-hour bus ride, really easy trip up. And excited to be in North Alabama tonight.
Yeah, I know you. It's only one game, and I don't think you can learn everything about your team in one game. But what impressed you the most, and what did you learn in that season opening game against New Orleans?
Well, it is only one game. I've had the privilege of getting to watch us now all summer. The rule, we pretty much participate all year long now, and I'm having a really good summer with this group. And then the fall has been really good to us. We've had a few injuries, but other than that, it's been where we've been able to blend our 6 new faces. We've got 3 true freshmen, and we've got 3 transfers with 8 returnees. So we spent a lot of time on our culture, our chemistry, a lot of time, with the conditioning, the weight room, the basketball workouts. So it's time to play. We're all tired of practicing. It's time to hit the floor and get in a consistent game routine.
Well, and I know you, the young ladies have been over there and seen it, but it's a great venue to play in. I know I've already received a text that a good friend is bringing 30 folks with him tonight. They're certainly excited about being there to see some Alabama women's basketball. And you've been able to grow the program. And I remember having you on before you made your first NCAA tournament appearance when the young ladies beat North Carolina in that first round game. And it was a very emotional one because this has been a tough rebuild. You've been at Texas Tech, you've been at Purdue, some powerhouses, but Alabama had been a powerhouse, but had fallen on some hard times. But it's been very gratifying to watch the brand come back.
It's been a true joy. Just very proud of every step that we've taken. It's definitely been a challenge, but it's been one that it's a really special place, really special program. Coach Rick Moody had done an unbelievable job in the 90s. Things had fallen off. It was 20-something years since we'd been in, and now we're consistently making a run for the tournament. We beat Florida State in the first round. Yep. We want to continue to try to get to a Sweet 16. Birmingham's hosting first and second round. It's regional. It's an exciting time to be a part. And, our goals are bigger. We want to continue to move the program forward. I think we'll 2 programs, the men and the women ranked, in the AP poll there for a little bit. And it's a really special time for Alabama basketball. And we're working as hard as we can to get this back to where we all want it to be consistently.
Yeah. And I think the reflection of that work is being ranked for the first time since 1999. You've been ranked in that poll to start the year. And that's a reflection. That first poll is a reflection of the work from the previous year.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that shows, we work so hard in recruiting now to recruit our own roster, and for Sarah Ashley Barker and Aaliyah Nye, and for Carly Weathers and Gianna Cunningham, and our 8 returnees that came back that believe so much in the crimson and white. And then we were able to add a really great freshman class. I still believe in, building from the ground up. And I think you guys mentioned Leah Brooks from Hazel Green a little bit earlier. Eris Lester, phenomenal talent out of the state of Florida, and Indiana Miss Basketball, Chloe Spring. So what we've done with our freshman recruiting, and then we've added some really important pieces from the portal. You're going to see a good group tonight. It's a great blend of the old and the new, and we've probably got more depth than we've had, but we return a lot of experience as well.
Christy Curry, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide women's program, joining us now. And Coach, you mentioned recruiting your own roster. The football, transfer portal takes a lot of the headlines. So does men's basketball, but I am sure and positive women's basketball has just as much movement in the transfer portal as we see in the other sports.
It absolutely does, but I think we're also, there's a lot of excitement around our game with the WNBA.
Yeah.
There are more opportunities now to play overseas. But at the end of the day, the value of your degree has to continue to mean something. And in our game, it does. And not that it doesn't in the other sports, but it's so important that it's a 40-year plan. We're never going to change who we are with that. We've had 13 players in the last 4 years leave with 2 degrees. We're as proud of that as we are the NCAA tournaments, guys. So at the end of the day, when you come and you believe, and we've got kids that are playing for the front of their chest, not the back, and our culture's in a really special place. We're going to continue that with or without the portal, with or without the NIL. It's all important. We've embraced it, believe me, and we need support with that. But at the end of the day, it still has to mean something to get a 4-year education and to make a difference in your communities when you leave Alabama.
That's about as well said as I think we could ever have it.
Yeah, no question. And Coach Curry, you talked about the depth this year in your roster. I know against New Orleans, you were able to play 11 young ladies, and Leah Brooks, had 9 minutes on the floor. She nearly played 10. Are you going to be able to? I know it's tough to play that many, but do you feel like you're going to have that deep a roster that during the regular season you'll be able to be comfortable playing a 9, 10, 11 young lady as far as in your rotation on your squad this year?
I think time will tell. We continue to be challenged every day. We have a phenomenal group of young men that make up our practice squad.
Yes.
I think they're doing a really good job of preparing our younger players and inexperienced players. And, as we move throughout the season, time, score, situation, I think will all dictate that. Guys, Dawn Thornton, what she's going to build here, she was phenomenal at Arkansas Pine Bluff. And when we chose to come up here, not many people will come on the road and play a mid-major.
Right.
We know we're 10 down when we walk in tonight. She's done an unbelievable job of recruiting that roster already. Has an all first team SWAC returnee. So we know it's going to be really difficult tonight, and it's going to be a great opportunity for us. And I think any good team, though, has to develop their bench. And we're continuing to develop our bench, and we'll see where it takes us as we continue to move along.
Yeah, it's kind of a small world and how this all works. You have Zay Green, who played for Arkansas Pine Bluff. Now she's playing against her coach that she had up at Alabama A&M. It's just funny how all this kind of all works out sometimes.
It does, and I know she's excited tonight. I know Dawn really thinks the world of Zay. I think if Dawn had probably not left where she was, they would probably still be with her. But I've had the chance in those days since she was little. I coached her mom in 93 at Stephen F. Austin. So I've known that family for a long time. She was a high school All-American that came out, has been a part of the portal some, but is currently working on her master's, and unbelievable in our backcourt. You'll have a fun time watching her tonight. She's pretty special talent.
Well, and Coach, I truly felt that of course, Shaq Wade from Huntsville High was one of a big part of the recruiting class that started to turn the program. And so you've always recruited high school talent and tried to, especially within the state. But I've also thought once the transfer portal became a big factor in women's basketball, that you and your staff have done a very nice job of supplementing your roster with quality transfers like Sarah Ashley Barker, like, of course, we just talked about Zay, but talk about how y'all found the fit culturally to bring the Annalie and I, of course, to bring in these young ladies that fit, and because that can be a difficult thing sometimes chemistry wise, but y'all have done a really nice job of it.
Well, I tell you, I think a lot of the question that you have to, or the first question, why are you in the portal? What's important to you? And, if it's all about you, it's probably not a good fit. But if it's about wanting to improve and develop your game, wanting to have an opportunity to continue to work on your education, I think the reasoning of why you get in the portal is important. And we've been really fortunate to have some wonderful young women make that decision. And a lot of times we've already had relationships with them, right? We've recruited them once before, so we know quite a bit about them. So that makes them even more easier to make that decision. I think too, it's going to be continuing I've always wanted to be one that wanted to adapt and adjust, but not compromise. And that's what we've tried to do with the portal. We're going to adapt. We're definitely going to be in the portal. We're definitely going to make the right decisions based off relationships and values and character and toughness and grit and all the things that should matter just as much as talent.
Talk about the SEC this year. I mean,
it's always tough.
Oh man,
right?
It's gotten tougher, hasn't it?
Welcome Oklahoma and Texas. It just means more, and it just really means more now. So, I think having been in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Texas, having great respect for both the tradition-rich programs they bring, it's unbelievable. I mean, so we added 2 NCAA tournament teams. We played at Texas in the first and second round a year ago, beat Florida State, lost to Texas, but it was a great game. We're excited to play them again. I think probably of anybody in our league, we probably have more of a quick look at them, knowing exactly what to expect here recently. So I'm excited about the opportunity. And, we're picked in the upper half. We're picked in the top 6, 5 in some polls. None of that means anything, though. It's how you finish. And I love our home schedule. I love our road schedule. And that's why we're in Huntsville tonight. We're trying to prepare for our road games in the SEC. And we know it'll be a great environment. Hey, I do want to go back. Shakira Wade will be in the building tonight.
Nice.
So
I was hoping so.
Really excited. She's, she's in the Army now, went in as an officer with her undergraduate degree,
awesome.
Stationed in Arkansas, driving in. I'm so incredibly proud of her. And she did. She was one of those young women that laid the foundation for 4 years for us to be making the NCAA tournament now. So really proud of her and can't wait to see her tonight.
Well, and talk about the challenge. This is a rebuilt Alabama A&M ladies team, but you talked about the roster. What are you expecting to see out of your team and attacking them? And again, as you said, you're on the road, great facility, should be a really nice crowd. But again, talk about the challenge of playing Alabama A&M tonight on the road.
Well, they're very, very good in transition. They do a phenomenal job of creating their offense from their defense. Great defensively. I mean, Dawn does such a good job with her pressure defense and her 1-2-2 four-court press. So taking care of the basketball and making sure we're not giving them easy baskets in transition will be key. So it's going to come down to some toughness and some poise. And the choices that we make on the road tonight it'll be a lot of fun to see how we respond. It's hard to simulate being on the road in Tuscaloosa.
Well, and Coach, I'd be remiss with my final question if I didn't ask this, because she means a lot to me. I've known her father since we were in 9th grade in typing class, but I've known her since she was 2. But I wanted to talk about your off the court staff. You have a very good organization you've built. I wanted to ask about one of your managers, Audrey Ritchie, and what she means and what they mean to your program and helping y'all prepare each and every day.
Well, just unbelievable group of young people that support our program, practice and work as many hours as our team, and they're day in and day out. They're there early, they stay late. And she is a phenomenal young woman, has an extremely bright future. And, I feel like I've got 14 players, but I also have 5 managers. So I feel like I've got 21 children, they're amazing. And what they do for our program every day, Audrey's gonna be a star, man. She's awesome. And we're so excited to be home for her too. And, Carly Weathers is only an hour and a half away. Aaliyah Nye grew up in Huntsville.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that. Yeah, grew up in Huntsville. And then we've got Leah Brooks from Hazel Green, Sarah Ashley in state. We have 6 alums that came and had dinner with us last night. Some of the all-time greats that's in the area. Yolanda Watkins, Chandra Fuller, Sharon Rivers, who's now coaching high school basketball, Kristen Bush. So it was such a fun night. Latrice Jones came. So it was a lot of fun last night to be able to have some folks. So this is a really special area currently on our roster, from Audrey to our players to the past. Yesterday was National Basketball Day, so I don't know a better day, more fun to have than to bridge the past with the present. So it was a fun day.
It really is. It's going to be a fun night tonight, 7:30, over at Alabama A&M on their palatial campus, the event center. Alabama going to play the Alabama A&M Lady Bulldogs. It's going to be a great event. We certainly are honored to have y'all in town today and for the last 2 days in the Rocket City. Thank you, Coach, and continued success. And we really appreciate you taking time out of a busy schedule to join us this morning on 97.7 The Zone's Talking Ball.
Well, it's always good to visit, and thank you so much. We appreciate how y'all support Alabama athletics. Have a great week and roll Tide.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you, Coach Curry.
Christy Curry, women's head basketball coach, University of Alabama, kind enough to spend a few minutes with us ahead of tonight's game at Alabama A&M on the Hill. Let's get a break in college football conversation on the flip side.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new rack on the Parkway. Not sure. I think it's going to be on the service road southbound right around University. May have an injury involved in that one. We had a minor injury in one in Lacey, 231 near Parks Lane. That one's had some major southbound backup associated with it. Snelling needs an experienced weigh station operator. The position is a direct hire. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at JetSuperstore.com.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for a Louisiana man. So rosin up that both.
Speaking of Alabama, the old Fort Payne boys getting it done. Alabama right there helping us come back in. 8:21 on a Thursday morning. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And a little bit of noise never hurt anybody. But will a little bit of noise hurt Alabama Saturday in Baton Rouge? Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer talking about the noise factor last night on Hey Coach.
A lot of that work in practice. The offense is sick of hearing over the last 2 weeks a speaker, whether we're in the indoor and it's just blasting full go and you can't hear anything, or a speaker right behind, the quarterback, to where, they probably lost some hearing. Let's just put it that way over the last 2 weeks. But, you know that everything's going to happen just a little bit slower. Communication takes just a little bit longer because the quarterback's got to go to the line of scrimmage a lot of times. You want to be sure of things, and your hand signals and stuff got to be on point. But and then they're locked in your focus, there's enough other stuff going on when it's not loud, and now add the noise to it. That's what we're preparing for.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a key. They've got to be able to check off. And I hope they make it a little easier on Milroe by the coaching staff helping him with that, because he seemed to struggle with it against Tennessee. Of course, Tennessee is an outstanding defense. We've talked about ad nauseum.
Yep.
It's the strength of their team. They haven't given up 20 points to anybody all year. But again, Alabama's got to cut the penalties out, and I think handling the noise, that's going to be a key, is not committing the false starts, the procedure penalties, and then staying on schedule, to staying away from negative plays. That's going to be a key. And I think starting fast, no doubt about it. They need to start fast. They started fast against Georgia, but that was at home. They need to start fast on the road. They need to get up on LSU, and they need to take the crowd out of it somewhat. Now, they'll all be drunk. We all know that, and we all know it's going to be electric. It always is at LSU at night.
What?
That's what they're known for.
They going to get drunk?
Of course. So, and that's not a disparaging comment.
No, it's not.
Nick Saban will tell you can smell it on the sideline. I mean,
it's in the air.
Yeah. So they're gonna be fired up. They're gonna be and they love to beat Alabama anyway. I mean, for the last 17 years, we're about to talk to Mike Detillier from WWL Radio in New Orleans, but we know what this game has meant. And, Brian Kelly is still squarely in the playoff hunt. They certainly did not finish against Texas A&M the way they wanted to. But again, they found a way to win at South Carolina when they were down big. And they've been tough at home all year long. So they have not lost a game at home. So this is going to be difficult. Alabama's had success historically in Baton Rouge, but this is a different coaching staff. And it's significant to me right now that Kalen DeBoer doesn't have an SEC road win. This would be the first one, and it would come at a huge time, this is basically an elimination game for these two squads.
If you're LSU in this ball game, you can't get too pass happy, right? You can't abandon the run. You have to stay with the run if you're LSU in this one, right? Do you agree? I mean, or do you think LSU will go the route of trying to throw the ball more?
They need balance, but the strength of their team, they have once again a great receiving core. I mean, Kyron Lacey has stepped up. Aaron Anderson from Edna Carr has stepped up. The transfer from Alabama, we know how good Mason Taylor is. And their offensive line, I think they've only given up 3 or 4 sacks all year. Will Campbell, he's outstanding. Jones, they've got 2, NFL offensive tackles. You mentioned they do have an injury. One of their starting guards, Dellinger's out. But again, I think they've got a good pass blocking offensive line. That's the strength of their team. Now they do need to generate a running game,
right?
And we'll see. I've said this. That kind of the key in the matchup for me is Alabama's run defense is definitely iffy, and LSU's rushing offense is dead last in the SEC. Which one has the better game? Does LSU have one of their better games running the football, or is Alabama able to step up and make LSU one-dimensional and potentially turn them over and have a chance to win? Because if LSU's not one-dimensional in this game, then I think Alabama's in trouble, because they've got a quarterback that's a gunslinger. They've got, the ability to make explosive plays. So Alabama's got to play good defense, and they've got to find a way to turn Nussmeier over.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us here briefly here on Talking Ball on a Thursday edition show. And I don't know if you saw this. One of the biggest headlines so far this college football season, at least in the SEC, has been the play of South Carolina's Dylan Stewart along the edge. And South Carolina already making plans to try to keep Dylan Stewart, and this is all coming out this morning, that they are working on a 2020. They're trying to keep him for 2025. They are working on a lucrative NIL deal to keep Dylan Stewart a part of the South Carolina program. It's being reported that his deal potentially could exceed $1 million to keep him in a South Carolina uniform.
That's where we are. Coach Curry just kind of mentioned it.
Yeah.
Re-recruiting your own players. So it's sad but true, as Metallica sang.
Can't sing that one.
I'm not
Sorry.
singing that here.
I can't sing that one either. That one is not going to happen.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to destroy people with that. Like the song, but I'm not going to sing it. Yeah.
You're just hoping Alabama leaves LSU. Sad but true, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sad but true. We still dominate you. You're out of the playoff. Boo-hoo.
What? That's good. That's good. Speaking of good.
Yeah.
We want to give him as much time as possible because you never know what story he's going to throw out there or what history you're going to learn about this matchup and about LSU football. Go Tigers. Ed Orgeron, our good friend Mike Detillier, will join us from Baton Rouge coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. Once again, we're warm as we head into the overnight. Temperatures only drop into the mid-60s. Much the same for your Friday. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Isolated showers are going to be possible. Temperatures climbing again into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Looks like we're going to spend most of Friday night football sitting somewhere in the lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Fire and Rescue canceled Himsey on that accident. Parkway Service Road southbound at University. One of the vehicles is south of the intersection. The other one's off in a parking lot there. The only other working accident we've had is 231 around Fields Road. That one had an injury and major southbound blockage through the Lacey Spring area. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
From opening night to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, don't miss a second of the NFL this season. Hi, this is Kurt Warner of Westwood One. Join our crew each week for the best in primetime NFL action. Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night football, plus marquee games on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas, and more. Westwood One is the exclusive radio home for every primetime and postseason game. It's right here.
Right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with a lot of people these days?
I don't know.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, coming up on Saturday in Baton Rouge, Alabama. LSU will tangle. And, I mean, you know what? You like college football. You like the drama that surrounds it. Well, this is about as good as you're going to get, because the loser of this one will have 3 losses. Now, 3 losses, we look, we're not going to say a 3-loss team will not make the playoffs, but we're not going to say a 3-loss team will make the playoffs either. And you pretty much can be behind a couple 8 balls if you get set back in this ball game.
And LSU is still very much in the SEC race. Alabama, it really is trying to play a spoiler in that regard here, but stay in the college football playoff chase, which is the most important one. But this, historically, since 2007, this has been for, SEC, championship aspirations, college football playoff, national championships, and maybe not so much this year, but still it's a very, very important game nationally. Brian Kelly, they had the hiccup in the second half against Texas A&M. They can't afford anymore. Alabama certainly did not play well in Knoxville, Tennessee the last time out on the road. They have not played as well in the SEC on the road under first-year coach Kalen DeBoer, and they'll have their first trip to Red Stick coming up on Saturday night. And our good friend will be there. And, of course, he's part of WWL Radio in New Orleans, Louisiana. He does a great job with SaintsReport.com covering the Saints and pro football. Don't forget, if his draft report is must see and must read. And he's the first person to tell us about Arch Manning. He told me in Dallas about Peyton's son, but it's always great to catch up with Mike Detillier. And it was great for me to be on with them, he and Herb Tyler in Dallas. As you know, and I was on with them earlier this year as well, because South Alabama went down to Baton Rouge and played and acquitted themselves pretty well. But LSU got a nice win. And now, since that period of time, it's going to be interesting to get Mike's take, and we're going to get it now on where LSU stands. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Well, Mike, I know the last time I spoke with you and Herb, you were talking about the water buckets that the LSU defense, or that the offense was having to carry on because of the defense. Has the defense improved much in your mind? And I think I was talking before you came on that I thought a big part of this matchup was going to be, which team outrushes the other, because Alabama got their running game going against Missouri, but they haven't run the ball nearly as well as people thought they would in some cases. And then LSU all year has struggled with that and with the running game. I still think the team that rushes the football the best in this contest is going to win it, though both quarterbacks get a lot of headlines.
Yeah, you're right on that. LSU's improved on defense. And for the last 3.5 games, I would have said significantly better under Blake Baker. And then I saw the second half of Texas A&M, and I got the eraser on that quote because they were lousy against A&M, like they had never seen the read option before. But I think the surprise has been you've got excellent play from the defensive ends and Braden Swinson. Listen, before the season, you could have said, give me the top pass rusher for the Tigers, and he's going to be one of the best in the SEC. If you're going to give me 6 names, I wouldn't have picked Braden Swinson. Right. He did absolutely nothing since transferring from Oregon. And then all of a sudden has burst onto the scene. And then Savion Jones on the other side. Savion actually played high school football at St. James High School, about 20 minutes from where I live. I guess in high school, Savion was a great basketball player, so he never had a lot of weight. I bet he hit LSU because I talked to Coach O about it. He said his second number, Mike, like you always say, it wasn't a 3, it was a 2. And he put on all kind of weight last year. LSU was sort of short-sheeted at defensive tackle, and Pete Jenkins used him inside. And then Pete said, "Enough's enough. He's an edge player. He's really played well." And so that's been a strength for that team. And then Whit Weeks, because when Harold Perkins went down, man, the thought was, okay, who's going to be that guy to be a playmaker on defense? And it became Whit. He was tremendous when he got to play last year as a freshman. And He was something for 3 games. Now I didn't think he played well against A&M. He was sort of overshooting plays. He was trying to do too much. And it's a Sean Payton line, but it's true. Just do your job. But I think he was trying to do too much in that game. He did not play well. But you're going to see number 40. I mean, he's all over the field. And so he's been a big surprise from their secondary has gotten better because Zy Alexander's there. And it was so funny in the summer, John Emery, who LSU lost after the first game due to a knee injury again, he did a camp with me. And he told me I'm going to play in game 1, which I didn't believe, and he did. And he told me Zy Alexander's going to be back by the first week in October. He had an ACL injury. That normally is an 11, 12-month injury, and he was back long before October. Shocking. And he's a good player. Transfer guy from southeastern Louisiana. So I would say, yeah, the defense is better than it was earlier in the year. It couldn't be any worse. They were bad. And I think they bought into what Blake Baker has sold to them on the defensive side, the football. And Kevin Peoples, too, the defensive end coach, I think has been a great addition along with Bo Davis. Everybody knows Bo and what he's been able to bring to the table. They still lack talent along the defensive line and I think at corner, but it's better than what we saw a year ago.
You mentioned the secondary being improved a little bit. How do they handle Ryan Williams, who, by the way, I don't know if you know, he's 17. You hear that every 2 seconds. But how do they slow down Ryan Williams on Saturday?
Well, I would bracket coverage him.
Yeah.
I think I would say, okay, he's not going to make the play, but somebody else is going to have to do it because I'm not going to let you throw the ball to him. So I double cover him. I'll play bracket coverage against Ryan. I said this 2 weeks ago, and I really believe this about Ryan and the way he plays as a freshman. I'm old enough. I saw Lynn Swann at USC. That's who Ryan Williams reminds me of.
Wow.
When I watched, I was a kid, but I saw Lynn Swann. Then I really saw him when he played with the Steelers, and there is a lot of similarities to how they adjust to a poorly thrown ball or a ball that's a little off alignment and make that adjustment. But looks like he belongs as a 17-year-old guy. It's amazing. Name me another guy in the SEC as a freshman receiver that's had that big of an impact. It's not Jamar.
Yeah.
Not Justin Jefferson. Okay. Those guys are dominating the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys struggled a little bit in the freshman year. Now they hit stride in their sophomore year, but they were not this dominant. Ryan Williams, he got the wow factor in him. And again, I remember watching Swann. So I told this to Archie Manning, and Archie was like, that's a pretty good comparison. He said, I begged the Saints to pick Lynn Swann when he came out of USC. And because I think Archie saw what he could do. And he said the Saints passed on him. They picked a linebacker by the name of Rick Middleton instead. And you'd have to look at Wikipedia to find out who the hell Rick Middleton is. But my thing is Ryan's not going to be the guy to beat me.
Right.
I'm going to double cover him or bracket cover him every play.
And then Mike, talk about this LSU offense. I mean, they've rebuilt the receiving core. Kyron Lacey's had a great year. I knew Aaron Anderson was super talented. Talking about making an adjustment, he didn't play a ton last year, but he's taking on a much bigger role. We know what Mason Taylor did to Alabama 2 years ago. This Alabama defense has been, a work in progress under Kane Womack. I know you know him and his dad very well, but you've watched Alabama defensively. How do they match up against this LSU offense in this passing game that Nussmeier's a gunslinger, man. He's got some Brett Favre in him. He will take chances, but he's got 20 touchdown passes and 2,600 yards.
Yeah, I would go after their corners. Again, until you prove you can stop it, I'm gonna go after you. And this tough, man. When you have a first round pick corner and a second round pick corner, in fact, he's here, with the Saints with Kool-Aid, and you lose a top safety in the transfer portal, you're not going to be as good in the secondary. And that certainly has shown up all year. Both these teams are flawed. Okay, it's not the perfect team by any stretch of the imagination. LSU, Kyron Lacey's the guy, okay, at wide receiver today. And Kyron's not the fastest, the quickest guy around, but he's a big physical receiver. He's gotten much better as a route runner. His mother and I work for the same hospital. I'm a spokesman there, and she works at the hospital at Thibodeau Regional. And so I've known Kyron since he was in junior high school. He was part of a state championship basketball team at Thibodeau High. And, man, he's a playmaker, big time. Aaron Anderson's the guy as far as the big play receiver. But I'm going to tell you, LSU's offense runs real good if C.J. Daniels is on the field. That's the guy that's questionable. He's had a lower leg injury that he's fought all year long. And I've always felt he's the straw that turns the drink as far as a receiver's concerned. He does all the dirty work. He runs those short intermediate routes. He's a really good downfield blocker. He sets up a defensive back and gets separation. And Nussmeier trusts him. He's going to be in that right spot. So if anything would catch your eye is availability of C.J. Daniels. He's a big part of this attack. LSU has not run the football well at all. All season long. It's really been Caden Durham almost on his own.
Right.
And I think a lot of it, guys, is everybody, LSU can run the football the last 2 years. What? No, Jaden Daniels can run the ball. They weren't knocking people off the line of scrimmage. It was Jaden. And, okay, Garrett Nussmeier, he can do a lot of things, but he can't run like Jaden Daniels.
No.
I mean, Jaden was special as a runner. And this offensive line is really good at pass blocking, but they are not very good knocking people off the line of scrimmage. They've been stalemated most times. I would like to see LSU run a little bit more edge with Caden Durham because of his speed. But, man, Garrett Nussmeier, and I told him this at the Manning camp, I said, you know who you remind me of? And I told it to his dad before. He reminds me of Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma with a better disposition. I mean, the one thing with Garrett, you're not going to have no issues with him off the field. And, that he's just a cool cat. But he reminds me of Baker Mayfield. I think I can put that ball in that little spot, and I'm going to do it. Now, sometimes that gets him in trouble. But, man, he throws it like Baker does in that it comes out in different angles. You'll see a sidearm delivery, three-quarter delivery, like a real fast throw over the top. Every throw he makes comes out differently, but he's accurate. And so that would be my comp for him. He's basically sort of the same size as Baker. Baker may move a little bit more than what Garrett did, but they're a lot alike other than personality. Because, man, you're not going to find a better dude. And Baker's grown up in life and he's matured, but this is a really talented team. They just can't run the ball.
Yeah.
And they got 2 first-round pick offensive linemen.
Yeah.
My thing is, what the hell's happened? Teaching physicality. And, guys, I think about it, man, if you watch other teams in the SEC, I mean, they're not great run blocking at all. And I've seen all of them this year. None of them are great. Even Georgia,
Right.
They get stung at the line of scrimmage. It's like we are now entering a phase where you got bigger players up front, but they're more adept at pass blocking than run blocking.
Mm-hmm. So then how much does LSU then try to run the ball on Saturday? Or is it just going to be pass to set up, pass and then occasional run? Or how committed will they be to running the ball on Saturday?
They're not going to be committed to it, I'm going to tell you, because they can't do it. And my thing is, this late in the season, okay, I don't have Barbara Eden, and this ain't I Dream of Jeannie. That thing ain't going to magically appear. Every once in a while, they will try to run the ball.
Right.
And it's really centered around Caden Durham. So I think they'll do a little bit of it to try to keep a little bit of balance. But guys, look how late we are in the season. They haven't done it yet. Is this all of a sudden going to magically appear? No, it's not. And I think maybe we didn't catch the flaw because Caden was so good. And how do you replace 1,100 yards rushing? That's what he did last year.
Yeah.
When I asked that to Brian Kelly, he was like, well, Mike, it ain't going to be one guy. And boy, he was right. And again, those type athletes, they don't come around a lot. You look at Alabama's running game, really, isn't it built around Milroe?
Yeah, it has been.
And so, when he's not going to be there, that's when you're going to see it more. Listen, take the advice from me. I saw it with Jaden for 2 years. I've seen it with Milroe. When that guy's not going to be there and you don't have that type runner to put pressure points on a defense, watch the lack of physicality up front. It's different. It's really different.
Well, and Mike, I'm glad you said that, because last year, Milroe, I thought he had his coming out party against LSU. He really hurt him, 155, 4 touchdowns. A lot of it was improvisational, and I think that could be a key Saturday. Teams have adjusted and started to take away the called QB runs. How do you see Milroe matching up against LSU's defense?
Well, if I had to play Milroe, and let me just say about last year, because I was there.
Yeah.
My goodness. If we were playing two-hand touch, he would have gained every yard gain last year in tackle football. LSU was clueless on how to stop him. Absolutely clueless. And my thing is, I want to force him to throw the ball from the pocket. And what I would do is I would sugar rush him. In essence, a little push up the field and force him to throw the ball from the pocket. Kind of tapper both edges and say, okay, if you're going to beat me, make a correct throw downfield. And keep my guys in. Not a hard rush, because if you hard rush him, he's going to take off running.
Mm-hmm.
But sort of sugar rush him and force him to make that throw time after time after time. I saw it years ago for the first time when John Chavis was here, the old chief. And he did that same thing to Johnny Manziel. And Johnny was frustrated. Every time he played LSU, he was frustrated. I think he didn't like that he couldn't run around and make a throw. I would do the exact same thing to Milroe. Other teams have used a version of it, but Chief was the one that really put that in, that sugar rush. In essence, it's not a hard rush. It's just set your area and say, okay, throw it. Put your hands up. Throw it. Throw it. And that's when I think Milroe, the decision making's got to be good on his part.
Yes.
When that happens, because that could lead. What I see with him, when he misses, it's high.
Yes.
And that's not good, because that ball gets tipped up in the air or over the top of a receiver. And so, okay, I'm not a defensive coordinator, but that's what I would do to play him until he shows me he can make those throws time after time. And I think he shows a little bit of emotion when it doesn't happen for him. He's frustrated that he didn't make that throw. And other guys, they could care less. I've been around quarterbacks. What? Okay, missed a couple. So what? I got it next time. But with Milroe, it seems to really bother him because I think he wants it to almost be perfect, and it can't be. You strive for perfection, but he gets frustrated with it on there. Now, with Garrett, it's a little bit of the same, other than he's got it in his mind. He can put a ball anywhere on the field. He's almost like Uncle Rico. Okay, on Napoleon Dynamite. I can throw that ball over the top of that mountain. That's it. That's Garrett a lot. I can put that ball over the top of that mountain. He is Uncle Rico at times. It's, again, two flawed teams. And I really believe this. It's not the quarterback who makes the big play in the fourth quarter. It's the quarterback who makes the big mistake. That's going to break the straw right there. And one of the two is going to make a big mistake in the fourth quarter that's going to lead the other team to victory.
Well, great stuff from Mike Detillier. Always great intel on LSU and, of course, pro football and all of it. Mike, we always appreciate your time, man. Let everybody know how to connect with you.
It's not like you didn't have any Saints news this week.
Oh, either. Yeah. I think they're all – everybody's thankful there. I think.
Good God. Well, I'm not even going to touch that line. So it's WWL.com, SaintsReport.com. Yeah, it's been an eventful week. And, guys, here's the other thing. Special teams.
Yes.
LSU special teams have really played well. Against A&M, the snap, the hold, the kick, it's been a cluster, you know what. And that has been a major downfall at LSU for Brian Kelly. He has not fixed it on special teams. But to have three major faux pas like they did against A&M, that ain't good. And we've seen this movie already. That could play a big part in the game Saturday night. The center snap, hold, kick. Ramos had really been good up to that point, and you wonder, because I've been around kickers too. They're the flakiest son of a guns you could ever walk around. Man, I got good Cade York stories if you want that, but we'll do that another day.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Mike Detillier with us. He didn't want to get into the same stuff.
Good God, he said.
By the way, LSU, they are that 3-point underdog at home against Alabama.
It's held at 3, yeah.
Yeah, the 9th consecutive time LSU has been a home underdog versus Alabama.
That's
now,
crazy.
LSU has lost 6 of the last 8 home games
to Alabama
versus Alabama. Now, they went 4-4 against the spread during that stretch. LSU was a last home favorite versus Alabama. You remember when you want to take a guess when Alabama was, or LSU was the last home favorite? And who was the quarterbacks for both?
Well, as far as the home favorite?
Home favorite for LSU. Just LSU being a home favorite against Alabama.
I would probably have said 06. And
you're right there.
John Parker Wilson.
You're right there.
And Rohan Davey.
Jamarcus.
Jamarcus. Purple Drank.
Purple Drank.
Yeah, my bad. Because Rohan was like 01 when he beat the hell out of Alabama. But yeah, absolutely. It was Purple Drank. He was ended up being the first pick in the draft, one of the biggest busts of all time.
You are absolutely.
You know who recruited him to LSU?
Who recruited him to LSU?
Dirtneck.
Did he really?
He was the OC.
Wow. There's a lot you could say there with all
I'll
that.
just do the Mike to tell you. I'll just leave that one the hell alone.
There is college basketball this afternoon.
and high school basketball. Both
coming up at 11 a.m.
on
the campus of North Alabama. Tony Pujol and
there
company.
You go.
They are going to be taking on Point.
Yeah, Jakari Lane, babe. Great player.
I don't know where Point is. I'm sorry.
I know.
Do you think that used to be High Point? That used to be
No,
High Point.
It's not High Point. It's Point.
Just Point?
Yeah.
11 a.m.
I think it's in Georgia.
11 a.m. tonight, or this afternoon, this morning. CB&S Bank Arena. It's elementary day. They're expecting over 2,000 students.
Getting
from
out of
14
school.
schools. Yeah.
Get to go watch some hoop.
Yeah. So there you go.
Watch
UNA.
it tonight over at Event Center, Alabama.
No, it's 11 a.m. Oh, yeah, the Event Center, Alabama A&M.
7:30,
Yeah.
Alabama A&M, Alabama, and then 7:30, Huntsville High, Bob Jones. Some great hoop tonight.
All right, folks, we'll recap a lot of that tomorrow.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. If you're in the market for a new ride, now is the time to make your move. We've got